Okay, everybody, this is Check the Effects from Jinsue City. Let's put myself to fly. Whoops, here. And we're going to be talking about what the vision of the Jinsue Empire is right now, or what it was before as well. So, Alice, if you want to come along with me, you can come along, Alice. We have Alice here from staff, so she'll be listening along. She's in the call with us. We also have Jerry Mack. You want to say hi, Jerry?
Hi.
Okay, so Jerry's there too. So, we're over here and we're gonna come here and we're gonna go over to where we have the site for the future University of Cartography, which is basically a big place where we have a storage of maps. And we have our first map that's over here. Now, we are planning to map out a very large area. Now, mapping doesn't necessarily mean taking over 50, like a whole bunch of people's uh, land or stuff like that, but for discovering where other people are. Okay, so for instance, we know that we're here. Okay, we also know that Fraser has his mob thing over here. Okay, we also know where that Donna has her little. I think Donna has her little town up here, right? And by being able to map out an entire large area, you're able to see exactly where you are standing relative to somebody else. And this way, this avoids any type of conflict. Given in the fact that, especially with something like Jinsu, when in the nation concept, it would have like we already started. There's already the town of Jushen is already here, so it's not that this is something that's has not started yet. It's already started. So the thing is that will be there, and if there, oh sorry, okay, I'll try to make it as short as possible, Alice. So that would be there, and another town might go over here, or wherever the case, another town might go here. So the reason for putting up like towers and markers is to have a set border so we don't go outside the borders is one. Mapping is there so we can set the borders at a place which is not going to step on anybody else's shoes, so we don't have any conflict with anyone. By the time that someone does come in, if they do end up trying to do find a spot, first of all, that's in between the towns, it's going to be fairly minuscule. It's not going to be big enough to build a town. A classic example is the old map where we had Jinsu, Karasu, and Hasu right next to, almost virtually next to each other. So it's not really going to be something that's going to happen in the first place. Um, in terms of the wall, I do understand that Zul says that we shouldn't be putting up a wall, but we can put up towers.
We
So,
got you covered.
whoa,
Oh,
whoa, let
sorry.
me. It's
It's
okay.
Dragon.
That's Dragon. Dragon, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah.
Someone, Dragon just popped into the room. So, there's so what was I getting at? So basically, putting up the markers, first of all, sets our borders as to where we're allowed to put the cities, individual cities, and also it prevents us from stepping on anyone else's shoes. Also, having having the big map up in the north, where we're putting up another map over that side, so we know where everyone is, helps us to be able to know where everyone else is and not to step on anyone else's shoes. Also, later on, if we do plan on putting in the rail system, we did have requests on the last map when people wanted to connect to the rail system. So in that case, it allows us to then chart out, okay, where are we going to send this rail? So that also helps out. And then, so when we want to connect the towns with the other people, like our neighbors, and Azul knows this, Mochi guy knows this, is when we started building the rail system in Jinsu, we had not just requests from them, but also requests from Night Sky Flame and another bunch of people who were neighbors with us to wanted to connect to the smart rail system because it was probably the first cargo rail, smart rail system on all of Power Paradise Realms. So now here it is. The mission of the Jinsue Empire is not some selfish thing. It's essentially there to give a good start to anyone who comes in, and also to give a good life to existing players. Um, it's basing itself on a set number of types of infrastructure standards that have been developed through lessons learned as we were going along. I know I was discussing this with Zul last map in regards to this because we were talking about practicality versus artistic. Everyone knows Zul's one heck of an artist. But the thing is, when we came to the Jinsue side, it was more of a practical sense. So we were discussing and exchanging ideas in regard to that, and I was actually supposed to send him a video on that on YouTube. So now I got this on YouTube due to some communication issues, I think, that have been happening. I know that a lot of people on the server prefer text. I prefer voice. Just to let you guys know, I don't really like texting very much because I think it's something that you don't get everything. In order that you don't get everything to when in the conversation, like connotations, how you're trying to communicate. That's the thing, and also people's emotions get properly conveyed as well, right? So that's how I'm trying to do it. So that's why I prefer voice, and that's why I'm making this video as opposed to Alice taking notes. So that's the plan. Is basically we have a set of now each town in the Jinsue Empire would be like the USA. It follows set standards set by the capital city, but the thing is, it's owned by the individual people in that town. We have a similar style to show unity amongst the group. But the thing is, each individual town has had their own palette in the past. Each individual town owner has put their own twist on it. Classic example is both Kaijoni and Karasu. One was a fantastical type of or a fictional type of base, and where Kaijoni had a also another more fictional, because that was a mix of Atlantean and Asian culture, Asian architecture, and then you had Jinsue City, which was the far more realistic base. And yes, I'm being rushed here by Alice, so I will end this off here for now. But anyways, that's the idea that's there. And we're putting like I said before, putting the markers to mark the borders. But in order to mark the borders, we had to do the map so that we know where we are, so we don't end up stepping on anybody's shoes. That's the idea. So we're not trying to, let's say, I'm not playing the tyrant or something like that. Moreover, trying to play the person who's trying to give benefit rather than that. So that's what I'm trying to get my aim at, because you have these towns that are now following a standard that's been developed over time, that we know works, and we know is going to help everybody who's in that community or in that nation. As far as being, what do you want to call it, an empire, what do you want to call it, a nation, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, you have a set of independent city-states that work together under a set standard, and we use the similar style to it's basically to signify that unity in style and also unity in standards, etc., that we follow in Jinsue. And also, if anyone else wants to follow that, we're willing to do that in their own towns or their own nation concepts. It's not like I ever said that no one else can build a nation concept. It's up to staff as whether or not they want to do that. So like I said, that's why we're doing the mapping. So mapping is to find out where everybody is, so we don't step on anybody's shoes, and then markers so that people know where exactly they are. That's where it is. So having the individual towers, if we're allowed to do the wall, we would put the wall with individual entrances. We would make it so that it's not a grief trap. There are ways to do that. We could easily make it so that that there are more entrances, for instances. Make it so that there's an entrance every 100 blocks or something like that, or every 100 blocks, or every 200 blocks. Every 200 blocks is an entrance or something like that, right? Or whatever the standard is we set at that point. We had to figure that out. But anyways, we got Jerry going crazy with the trees and stuff. So that's it. That's what I have to say. And if there's anyone who wants to converse with me, please feel free to do so. I am not trying to bend any rules. I have never seen myself as bending any rules. I want to clarify that. I had just tried to work with whatever we had according to whatever rules that were there, especially those that were written on the thing there. Now, if the issue is if someone has something that they want to build, as what Alice was saying. If someone, Minecraft is about building what the person wants, and basically this is basically a new idea where you're building a larger community. Is what this idea is. So it's not going against the whole idea of Minecraft. It's just building up a new concept in Minecraft, which is going along with it. You're still creating something big, and something that's a dream that's or a vision of something that's common. And she, okay, so I will cut this off because Alice is getting okay. I'm talking too much. So okay, so I will cut this off. So this is Check the Effects. Sign it off. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care.